3:15. It's been a while since we've done this, and I welcome Tim in here. I told you that the system we use has updated itself. The buttons look different. They're all in the same place. So, I mean, we're here. We're live, I think. How are you doing? Can you hear me, first of all?
Yes, I can hear you. And today is, in fact, the Ides of March. So, everyone, beware. Caveat Caesar. So I'm doing better than that guy. No one stabbed me, yet.
Well, it's early. It's 10:04.
10 a.m. The stabbing hour is not yet upon us.
So, what time was that? Was that like recalled in ancient historic lore?
It happened at 3. It happened at 3:15. Oh. No, I made that up.
Listen, if you say something with enough conviction, people will believe you.
That's how I got my current job.
You know what? That was almost a quick hitter about your job. If I remember it by the time we get there, I'll pull it back out. But
I do have a list for you, by the way, this week written on my PP&L bill.
Excellent. Your lists are, one of them is definitely a picture that I found on Facebook that I thought was you'll see when we get there.
Yeah, but let's not put the cart before the horse.
It's going to be a long time till we get there because I think we missed last week.
We did.
I forget. I don't know what excuse either one of us had, but here we are with a ton of stuff to go through.
Busy.
And I think normally today, being Selection Sunday, I don't think I would have started with the NBA, but we're a little under a month left in the regular season. And last Thursday, something really big happened outside of the WBC. Miami and Washington, in what normally would be a forgettable NBA regular season game, went out and put on a show for the ages as Bam Adebayo etched his name into NBA history. 83 points, and it puts him second all time. There are some conspiracy theorists who have never, fully believed in Wilt's 100 that say he's now number one, but that's something else. Tim, there's been a lot of criticism about this game, and where do you stand on where this one should be remembered?
I think any game like this, the term ethical basketball gets thrown around, and they say, "Oh, Bam Adebayo, this was unethical." Guess what? Wilt was unethical. Wilt Chamberlain didn't normally go to the line 32 times in a game, but he did in Hershey in March of '62. You remember when Kobe scored 60 against the Jazz in his final game? Did anyone watch that and think this is how basketball should be played? No, he was getting fed the ball every time. He was jacking up threes. Sometimes sports is putting on a show. And when Bam Adebayo had 70 points through, 3 quarters and 2 minutes of the fourth, everyone in the building wanted to see him make a run at Kobe's 81 and see how close he could get to Wilt's 100.
I turned it on. You had texted me about it, because I was watching baseball. And because it was in the Washington market, I got it. I don't have NBA season pass. And I don't know if people were switching in other networks because it was a big deal.
Yeah.
But it seems when I turned it on, that's when the blank fest started. Yeah. It did not look like basketball to me, what I watched.
I forget what game I was watching. I was watching a national game. It might have been Celtics Spurs. That was the same night.
That was a big game. That would have been a big game.
Right. But
national game, that makes sense. Over Miami, Washington, sure.
Celtics Spurs started a little later. So as the Miami Washington game was ending, they cut out and they went to Miami for the last 2 minutes.
Gotcha. So you didn't see the fourth then? You're just kind of following along online, or did you watch the game?
I did not. I was watching the Celtics, and then I was following on my phone to see the running point total for Bam.
So what bugged me about it was, I guess, reading the post game, all the interviews Bam said was you didn't start double teaming me until I got to 70. That's not exactly true. In the fourth quarter that I watched, they were double and triple teaming him in the backcourt.
Yeah,
and then. I get you want to see how far you can go, but the West Court playground style 3-point chucking was just awful. But he was getting fouled Like his line, he was 36 out of 43 from the foul line. So if Washington just played regular defense, I don't think he gets to 80 because he was just throwing stuff up. And what bugged me then on top of it was the way Miami was playing defense, fouling Washington to put them on the line to stop the clock.
Yeah.
Like that's a real stretch. I mean, at that point, let's let him cherry pick and just hang out under the basket, West Court style. We'll throw you the ball, football style.
Sure, and ideally, you would like to see it happen in the natural flow of the game, and this was not
no
the natural flow of the game. But also, like anytime you see some sort of like statistical aberration like this, I think you're going to see teams do things out of the ordinary to make a run at something like this.
These are two teams that are not like fighting for the top seed in the playoffs. Washington's
Washington's terrible. I watched them yesterday against the Celtics. They are abysmal.
So I mean, I don't blame Miami for going for something like this, but like I said, the fourth quarter that I watched was it was the worst basketball I've ever seen, and I'm the guy who just kind of got back into NBA playoffs a couple of years ago and commented that like all we're doing is shooting 3-pointers. Brick. I felt like Wesley Woody Harrelson in White Men Can't Jump. Let's build a homeless shelter for all these people with all the bricks you're laying.
Yeah.
But that's what basketball has become. And Bam 7 for 22 from behind 3-point line, but they weren't good shots. They were terrible looks. They were triple teamed. Let me throw this up. And the referees were calling things. I think the referees were just as to blame for this as Miami was.
But I still feel like when it was a normal game, for Bam to have 40 at halftime, and then for him to have 60 in the third, approaching 70, I still think that he came by that. In the natural, in the natural flow of the game, it was really only like the last half of the fourth quarter where things got cartoonish. And I'll tell you, the Washington booth, there was a stoppage when he was at 81, and the Washington booth was like, well, and now Miami's rightfully taking Bam out of the game because
in respect of Kobe.
And there was like a column the next day that was like, it was shameful, like he should have been taken out to have it tied with Kobe. You know who would have thought that was stupid? Kobe. Like who was more of a maniac, than that guy? He was like Jordan level competitive. Like if you would have, so for people who are like I think Bam had the right reaction where he was like, why wouldn't I want the record? Like, it's Kobe Bryant. Why wouldn't I want to surpass his 81?
If somebody fouls and 3 points their way to 99, is the coach taking him out in case he hits a layup? No. Of course not. And Wilt's 100 is one of those magic numbers in sports. Like, DiMaggio's 56. 100 is like it's almost a sacred number. But if somebody breaks it, and at this rate we might see that in our lifetimes, I don't think that respecting a former great player's record is like, no, that's dumb.
Yeah, before last week, if you would have told me that I could see Wilt's 100 fall in my lifetime, I would have said, no way.
Probably not.
But the way that scoring is up, the way that the game is called, and the way that defense is played, I'm not saying it will happen, but if there's like a player who's like on the level of like a Steph Curry, who has a night where he's like got a hot hand and he hits
it's
27 threes or something like that. I mean, Bam Adebayo, very good player, Olympic champion, all-star caliber player, but certainly not
83-point scorer.
Pantheon guy. Scored 83 points in an NBA game.
Yeah.
So
in
we
30
could
years, my kids will.
Wilt's record will fall before DiMaggio's does.
Yeah, I could see that. I think we talked about the most unbreakable records in sports, and a lot of them are are baseball related, and just like you said, because of the way the game is played, like you're not going to see anybody reach Cy Young's wins. You're not going to see anybody,
511 wins,
Nolan Ryan strikeouts is ridiculous.
1,300 steals.
Yeah, but in basketball, the way the game has evolved, like you said, to 3-point shooting is at a level now that you and I never saw growing up. I was just watching. I told you I was rewatching The Last Dance, and I think my TikTok it figured it out, and I started getting all kinds of 80s and 90s basketball highlights, and the rarity of the 3-point shot back then was something else. But today, yeah, you're right.
When I was watching the Hornets Spurs game yesterday, and they made the point that one of the officials was Kevin Porter, who is the only official who was a former NBA player who became an NBA referee after his career. And they made the point he played his last season in San Antonio in 1988, and he led the Spurs in three-pointers made in the 87-88 season. And I don't know who was doing the play-by-play, but the analyst was Del Curry, Steph's dad. And he said, would you care to guess how many threes Kevin Porter led the Spurs with in 1988?
I guessed 104. Said, I don't know,
110? Which,
oh, wow,
it would be just over one a game. It was 41.
Oh, my goodness.
Which is 0.5 three-pointers a game if you play all 82.
That's insane.
So that just shows you how the game's changed.
Yeah, I love that. It's a great side story. I love it. Other stuff going on around the league, and we'll go to your Celtics, who welcomed back Jason Tatum, and I believe the text you sent me was something like the East should watch out.
He looks good.
And they've gotten 5 games in, and they dropped 2 of them, but one of them was to the Spurs, one of them was to OKC, so those are what you would call acceptable or maybe expected losses. But
both on the road.
You said he looked good so far. What is your overall level of optimism / confidence going into the playoffs? I think Boston has like 14 or 15 games left.
Yeah, I think you would have to say that Boston is the favorite to win the East now. And that's not to take anything away from Detroit, who's been the best team in the East all season.
Mm-hmm.
But a team like the Celtics that was already on pace to win, around 55 games, adding someone the caliber of Jason Tatum, even if he's only playing at 80%, which it looks like he's even maybe a little better than that, he's been able to log some pretty decent minutes. You'd have to say, and especially because of what it's allowed them to do with developing some of the guys who were unknowns coming into the season, where you didn't know what you had with guys like Neemias Queta and Hugo Gonzalez. And, these are guys who got significant minutes because Tatum wasn't there.
Sure.
So now those are guys who can be, expected to contribute if the Celtics make, the kind of run I think they will.
Sure. So, I mean, if you're looking at the standings right now, the Pistons have a 4.5 game lead for the overall number 1 seed. And the Pistons have games against the Lakers, they have the Thunder. I'm looking at both Boston and Detroit have, I don't want to say easy rests of the way, but I think Detroit might have a slight edge in ease of schedule. Neither Boston nor Detroit are like super hot right now. There's 6. Detroit's on a 3-game winning streak, but they're not like the Western teams that are 9-1 and 8-2 in their last 10.
Right, and I will say, even like you'd said, the losses to San Antonio and OKC by the Celtics being, what you'd call acceptable losses. Like Jaylen Brown got tossed very early in that San Antonio game,
and the Thunder only won by 2.
Oh yeah, with 2 late SGA foul shots, and Tatum didn't play that night. They sat him.
Okay.
So, I fully expect Detroit to hold on and be the top seed coming out of the East. Celtics 2, and then the Cavs and Knicks will settle in 3 and 4. But the Celtics are one of the 2 or 3 best defensive teams in the league. San Antonio, OKC, Detroit, Houston, Boston, they're all pretty comparable defensively. But between Detroit and Boston has much more going for them offensively. I mean, Cade Cunningham's fantastic. Jalen Duren has been a breakout guy. But then, other than that, you have, Asar Thompson is a good third option in Detroit. But I just think the Celtics are a little deeper. Everyone on that Celtics roster can hit the three.
I think Tatum coming back helps Boston more. If you look, though, just at point differential, Boston and Detroit are essentially a tie. Detroit has a 0.6 differential lead, but you throw Tatum in there, and I think that you're right. Boston jumps over them.
And you have to factor in that Boston has much more playoff experience than Detroit does. Detroit just has this group that the one playoff series last year when they, gave the Knicks a scare, but did lose to the Knicks. And the Celtics are only 1 year removed from a title run.
Sure. Well, we have 2 weeks. I think the regular season, 3 weeks. The regular season ends April 12th for New York. And, that's when I'll start to, I guess, fully pay attention. I saw the Lakers and Nuggets had a big game in terms of, regular season standings yesterday. I don't know if you saw any of the highlights of that one.
Yeah, I was watching that. It came down to Austin Reeves had to miss a foul shot, get his own rebound, and then hit a jumper with time running out to send it to overtime. And then the Lakers were able to hold on at home in overtime to beat the Nuggets, who got a great game from Jokic, but Jamal Murray just had maybe the worst game of his career. Missed his last 13 shots, only scored 5 points, fouled out.
Ooh.
So Jokic was he got some support from Tim Hardaway Jr. and Gordon chipped in, but it wasn't the full complement the Nuggets usually have.
Gotcha. I don't see I'm looking at the standings right now. I don't see where you would have the playoff standings. They, for some reason, they have the Suns over the Lakers. And
the Suns and Lakers have been right around 6-7. So
but
don't tell.
We all heard it.
I did not do that on purpose.
Well, the Lakers have more wins and fewer losses than the Suns, but where they're listed, I think the Lakers are looking at the 3 seed right now. Am I wrong?
Right. The last I looked, 1-2 is pretty much locked in as OKC.
OKC and San Antonio is.
And then
I like the Spurs this year, man.
3-4. I do too. They were fantastic yesterday against a very good Hornets team. 3-4-5 is some combination of Houston, Minnesota, and Denver, and then you have behind them the Lakers, Phoenix. The Clippers have been pretty competitive, even with
they just lost Kawhi.
Yeah, and but they've been they're above 500 at least, which they were struggling for part of the first half, but they're 3 or 4 games above 500 last I looked.
The Clippers are 34-33.
Okay,
they're right there on the line. But if you just look at numbers, and I like the last 10 stat, that kind of tells you where you're trending.
Yeah,
they're 7-3. They just dropped their last game, but going into the playoffs, you want to be. I think you want to be hot. You want to have a good feeling, and maybe that's the baseball fan in me thinking, that it'll translate. And in terms of basketball and feeling good about yourself going into the playoffs, we're right at that point now in college as conference tournaments just wrapping up. Selection Sunday later today. Is it 6:00? I want to say.
Yeah. 6:00.
So let's start with maybe the biggest question mark we've seen in maybe the last 10 years or so. What does this committee do with Miami, Ohio, A team that just lost their first game of the season in the quarterfinals of their conference tournament. They lost to UMass. They are 31-1, and they're on the bubble.
I think you have to put them in, because if the committee tells them, we don't want you, you're an NIT team, what you're essentially saying is, even in a 68-team field, mid-majors do not matter. Like, it's tough to win 30 games in whatever conference. And
It is. If you look at their numbers, in terms of their strength of schedule, it's 340. The non-conference strength of schedule is 363. They have more quad 3 losses than quad 1 wins. I mean, that's in terms of any kind of mid-major. This is where scheduling has really hurt them. They didn't get anything out of conference. That if they had played Duke on the road and lost by 15, that loss might have looked better than their win against Akron. I don't know, and I'm not arguing that they shouldn't be in.
Right,
and this is a quandary that the committee's in.
The problem with that is, when these schedules are being made and when you're looking for attractive non-conference opponents, what AD is saying, who we should schedule? Miami of Ohio. Do you think Wally Zerbiak will be there?
Maybe Ben Roethlisberger will be on the sidelines.
Yeah,
in the stands. We can get his autograph. No.
Like I texted you the other day, though. Like, if we don't put Miami of Ohio in, who are we putting in over them? An 11th or 12th team from the SEC?
No.
We want to see Auburn or Indiana there instead of. I can tell you that America cares and will tune in to see what, even if they're in a play-in game, to see what Miami of Ohio does, just to either say "see" or "I told you so."
That's what the bracketology folks they said, that sending them to the first 4 would be what they called a potential compromise. Like, I'm with you. Like 31-1 though. I love what you said. If they don't put them in, you're telling the mid-majors you don't matter. And what do we love most about March Madness? One, it would be seeing our team cut the nets down. Outside of that, I think seeing the Purdues of the world, the Virginias of the world lose as a 1 seed, it blowed up my bracket. But those games were amazing.
Yesterday was 30 years to the day that Princeton and Pete Carrill backdoor cutted their way to a win over defending champion over UCLA. And the day before that was 28 years to the day that Bryce Drew, off one of the great inbound plays in tournament history, hits the 3 to beat Ole Miss. So it's 30 years later, and I can still remember the inbound to half court to almost like hook and ladder it over to Bryce Drew for the open.
That was an amazing play.
His dad Homer was the head coach and just drew it up perfectly.
So.
But that's the stuff we remember. We want to see the Miami of Ohio's do that to, whoever. Not anyone but Michigan.
I heard, I don't know who it was on social media or mainstream media, whatever, said, we want to see that, but then we want our Elite 8 to be chalk and blue buds. Let me tell you something. The 2018 Final Four, Michigan versus Loyola, that was cool.
Yeah, and we want to see nuns in wheelchairs rooting on their teams. We want to see George Mason singing "Living on a Prayer."
I remember the George Mason run. I remember listening on the radio, driving home from Pittsburgh, thinking about, can you hold on? Can you hold on? I'd never been more riveted by a college basketball run. Then you get a double-digit seed that puts on a show like that.
Like Davidson,
that's cool to me.
Steph Curry and Shaka
before
Smart
we knew who
with
Steph Curry was.
Yeah, that's the stuff we remember. That's what the tournament's for.
And if Miami gets that kind of opportunity, I mean, they're less. You look at who's ever heard of Loyola Chicago. We've heard of Miami, Ohio. So I don't think it'll be the same level of Cinderella, but I think we're in agreement they deserve a shot. So
the fact that everyone who cares about college basketball is talking about Miami of Ohio tells me that the selection committee would be stupid not to put them in, because that game, whether it's the play-in or whatever, is going to get eyeballs.
It'll draw numbers, yeah. In a time where you and I grew up in an era where whatever CBS gave you, that's what you got.
Right.
Now we've got True TV, we've got False TV, we've got TBS, TNT, whatever. You can watch whatever game you want, and you don't have to have the package to do it, which is great. That move by cable or whoever decided that, kudos to them.
There are lots of things that frustrate me about the current TV landscape, but not on that first Thursday.
Those Thursday and Friday, forget about it.
That is bliss. That is heaven.
Yep. Well, we talked about this earlier, and I logged into Bracketology just to see who the one seeds would be, because I think we're pretty much in agreement. We got Duke, Arizona, Michigan, and it's the fourth number one seed. I think the last time we talked, I said it might have been UConn, but they didn't look so good in their regular season finale, and they just got blown out, defeated. St. John's rocked them. So I don't know if they're going to be in line. ESPN has Florida as the last number one seed. What do you think of that?
There are 3 or 4 teams that you could probably throw out there as valid fourth number ones. I know Houston.
Houston was up there.
And they just lost Arizona, but they lost a close one.
Yeah.
Florida coming out of the SEC is just as good a choice as Houston.
And they're in the South. And so Houston would make sense too. But
St. John's is probably more of a 2 seed as a 6-loss team. But I think we're looking at Duke, beating Virginia as the number one overall.
Probably.
We'll see what Michigan does today with Purdue.
Yeah, so Michigan Purdue at 3:30 today. I don't think Michigan needs to win to be a 1.
I don't either. I think win or lose Michigan, because if they lose to Purdue, they're still only a 3-loss team. I think they're locked in as a 1.
Can you see if Purdue wins, do they maybe jump to a 2? Because right now Bracketology has Michigan State. That's right, Michigan State, Houston, Iowa State, and UConn as 2 seeds. And this was updated at 2:30 in the morning, so it is up to date as possible. I think if Purdue beats Michigan, they're a 2 over Michigan State. And Michigan State would drop to 3.
I think if Purdue beats Michigan, I think St. John's has to be a 2. Yeah. It's the Big East champion with 6 losses. I think Purdue, best case, is a 3 seed.
Okay. That's where Bracketology has them right now.
Like I've seen Michigan State and Purdue play, and Michigan State to me is the superior team. So just in my mind, I think of Michigan State as being, and plus, not that it should factor in, but the Izzo factor of what he does in March.
Yeah, Well, we'll see. 6 o'clock, I think, on the Worldwide Leader. We'll find out all. The boys in Division II and the ladies in Division II have already been going, and the IUP women's basketball team is into the Sweet 16. A real back and forth game with Seton Hill. IUP was down by 7 going into the fourth quarter. They outscored Seton Hill 28-14 in the fourth. A girl named Helene Cowan led Seton Hill with 29, but Nashay Weaver going for 25. Teresa Maggio 20 for IUP. You know what I like about Teresa Maggio? No,
her name sounds like DiMaggio.
A little bit. She's 5'6". I love that about her. I love that because
you gotta love a scrapper.
Weaver is out here at 6 feet tall. Who has time for that? You can kind of sort of see the bracket right now on the screen. IUP taking on Winston-Salem now in the Sweet 16. They knocked off the 2-seed team from Gannon. And the winner of that will take on, it looks like, either Minnesota Duluth or Concordia St. Paul. The 1 seed down in that bracket got bumped. So that's kind of cool. That game is today. Did I write it down? I should have. Tomorrow. They play tomorrow.
And Gannon, because I have to sneak a mention of the Huskies in there. Gannon is who knocked BU out. The BU women were very scrappy. Talking about scrappers. They won their opening round game in the PSAC tournament and gave Gannon all they could handle in the second round. Gannon was the one seed, but
Winston-Salem knocks them out. So we'll see what happens with the ladies. The IUP men also into the NCAA tournament. They were the 6th seed in the Atlantic region. And they took on the 3-seeded Fairmont State Falcons on the road, pulling the upset. They were tied at halftime. They outscored Fairmont in the second half. And when you win a close game like that in basketball, college basketball, Tim, what's one of the things you usually look at?
Turnovers and three-point shooting.
Turnovers, IUP wins that battle 15-6. And when you have the lead, what do you got to hit? You got to hit your free throws.
Yeah, you got to hit your fouls. Yeah.
19 out of 23 from the stripe, and IUP advances. And on the other side of that bracket, Virginia Union pulls the upset over the 2 seed. So that means IUP doesn't get the Hilltoppers. They'll get the Panthers instead. However, hold your horses, get to see the 7 seed. This Virginia Union team is the number 1 overall scoring defense in college basketball. 59.5 points per game they allow. So I don't know if IUP is going to score against them. I'm sure they're going to score, but enough to pull a win, I don't know. This would be a tough one.
You know who else had a great scoring defense and a fantastic rating in the RPI? Goliath.
Well, we'll see. That game to be played later today, I believe. That says 3:15 on there. Excuse me. It'd be cool to see both the IUP men and the IUP ladies do well in the postseason. They're
kind of like the UConn of Division II.
They're on their way. Yeah, good call there. Let's see, how long are we talking so far? We're into the show 30 minutes. We haven't talked about the NFL. My phone's going off here. It looks like we just got our first fine of the year. So let's talk NFL. And we're in the part of the year. They had this thing called legal tampering. Remember, you ever heard that phrase, legal tampering?
Is that like jumbo shrimp?
I guess it's the dumbest thing. So it's like pre-free agency. And when all these signings and trades were going on, the big thing turned out to be not a thing, as Max Crosby was traded to the Ravens, but not so fast. The Ravens said, no, we're good. And they sent him back. And that move alone has really had an impact across the league because teams moved on and they started picking and choosing other players. And when Crosby went back, teams were like, whoa, wait a minute. And here we are.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously the biggest ripple effect is then that Trey Hendrickson goes from Cincinnati to Baltimore, stays in division. Rashawn Gary goes to Dallas. And then, who knows how much money Max Crosby's lost out on.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is Eric DeCosta, the GM from Baltimore, said the plan all along was to sign Crosby and Hendrickson. I don't know how you do that financially. Like they reworked Lamar's contract a little last offseason, but you have a guy here, Hendrickson signs 4 years, $112 million. I don't know what Crosby still has left on his deal, but it's not cheap.
And especially because there have been some rumors that the Ravens might be in the market for A.J. Brown.
Okay. Well,
the talk has been the Rams, the Patriots, and the Ravens have been the most interested.
Well, they have their first-round capital back if that's what Philadelphia wants. I like what Baltimore did picking up Hendrickson.
I do
and honestly, with Crosby costing 2 1s, it reminds me like there was talk like all the teams that had given up 2 1s in the past, and the Bears were one of them when they sent 2 1s to Oakland for Khalil Mack. And Mack had a fine run in Chicago, nothing that led to like playoff wins. But I think Crosby feels like a step down, even a little step down from Khalil Mack. and he's hurt.
Yeah,
I didn't want to see him in Chicago. I would if somebody asked me, if you're the Bears GM and the Raiders have to dump Crosby, what's the most you would give them? I might give them a 2. I wouldn't give them 1, let alone a pair of them.
That's apparently what made Baltimore and Dallas the most wary about Crosby, is not just like his timetable for this season, but long term.
Yeah,
like how much it could shorten his shelf life.
And Crosby then, I don't think he wanted to move. Like, I think he legitimately likes the Raiders, and getting traded hurt, and he had to come out and say he's all in now with the Raiders. Like he feels like he's back. That feels weird.
It does. It's like it's like when a divorced couple remarries. What do I get you, a toaster again? Are we going to pretend that you've always been happy?
Yeah. That's one of the ripple effects. The other stuff that has gone on since you and I have last talked, the Bears moved DJ Moore.
Yeah.
And they got a second. They moved DJ Moore and a 5th round pick to the Bills for a 2nd round pick. And my first thought was, oh, that's a bummer. But then I remembered, like, the Bears were so far over the cap, they needed to do something. And the fact that Drew Dahlman, their center, it was like a surprise retirement, that helps their cap situation. But they had to move DJ Moore either way. You can't have that much money in your wide receiver room, especially with Odunze and Burton coming up on their getting paid. So they got something out of him, and they're going to use that second, I think, to try to retool the defense, which among playoff teams was one of the worst. I think Moore gives Josh Allen the target that he's missed since Diggs left town.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a big upgrade for Buffalo. I think the biggest upgrade, though, Kansas City.
Yeah, they're on the list here.
Yeah. I mean, depending on the timetable for when Mahomes is back to relatively healthy, I mean, they're a very dangerous team.
Well, he said that he would be ready for the regular season.
Sure.
Let's just say he doesn't play the first 25% of the season. Let's say he misses the first 4 games. Does that really matter? If the Chiefs can win one of those 4 games, if they're not 0-4, they're probably in line to be a wild card team. I would think. I think they're
the only issue
good enough.
Is how deep that division is, with the Broncos and the Chargers being as good as they are.
Sure. So we know what the schedule is, who those first 4 games are. The Chiefs aren't facing a first place schedule. Not that matters. I don't think first place schedules exist anymore. That's not a thing.
Yeah, I mean, because there's
most teams are good. Even the bad teams can flip on the light switch. Everybody except the Jets.
Look at the Patriots.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, look, the Eagles are a first place team, but I think they're going to have a significant downgrade next year, just with how their defense has been decimated by free agency. Because Nakobe Dean gone, Reed Blankenship, and AJ is going to be out of town. So now, who's going to be your number 2 behind Devontae at wide receiver?
I don't know. I can tell you they signed Tariq Woolen and Arnold Eckerby.
Right, and they re-signed Jordan Davis. They gave Jordan Davis his money.
There you go.
So that silver linings.
I think the Kenneth Walker deal might be the biggest one. In terms of biggest names, Kyler Murray just signed in Minnesota. And how about this problem that this creates? Kyler Murray on a 1-year deal. The Vikings still don't know what they have with J.J. McCarthy, although McCarthy's numbers are not good. They needed an upgrade there.
And the fact that he's injury-prone already is maybe the biggest question mark, that he can't stay on the field.
So Kyler Murray comes to town, and I don't know. I'm still not overly worried about the Vikings in that division, not as much as I'm worried about Detroit and Green Bay. And Green Bay lost. How about this? Greg Rosenthal at the NFL Network put out his list, the 100 best NFL free agents. Do you know who number 1 was?
Who?
Malik Willis, quarterback, Green Bay.
Packers.
And Malik Willis decides voluntarily to go to the Jets. and not even for a ton of money. I think it's like $22 million a year, which is bottom half for starting quarterbacks. So Jordan Love really has a short leash in terms of you got to stay healthy,
right?
But I'm still more worried about Green Bay than I am Minnesota.
Sure, because they have so many weapons there, and if Love's healthy, I mean they're one of the three most dangerous teams in the NFC. Yeah, the Jet situation is interesting. Between that and bringing back Geno Smith.
Yeah.
But what's even around them? Like offensively, like what weapons do they even have to?
They have the second pick in the draft. They'll probably draft a lineman.
Yeah. Well, they're not taking a quarterback.
No. Well, yeah, that makes that talk interesting. They still might. Who knows? Speaking of quarterbacks, last quarterback I want to talk about, Tua, our buddy Tua from Miami, on his way to Atlanta, and that's another weird situation. You have a left-handed quarterback who's hurt in Michael Penix, so you bring in another left-handed quarterback who is very close to being hurt again. I mean, serious concussion risk down in Atlanta. What do you think of Tua getting the money from Atlanta?
Very surprising. I didn't know. I was very intrigued to see who would take the risk with Tua.
Kevin Stefanski says, "Hey, we can make it work."
Yeah, it just tells me that they don't think that Michael Penix can stay on the field.
Yeah,
but I mean, Tua's, and I don't say this lightly. He's one hit away from his career being over.
Sure. But on the other hand, he is a seasoned NFL veteran.
Sure, he's been in the playoffs.
At this point of the year, the NFL calendar year, it's his time to shine.
I'll tell you,
Kirk Cousins is still out there. Where do you think Kirk ends up?
Oh, gosh. How old is Kirk now? Is he 38, 39?
I don't know, but I think he's still got football in him. I mean, between Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers, they're going to play next year, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
just to see where they go.
His Rodgers, it seems like Rodgers, from everything I've heard, is still non-committal with Pittsburgh.
He's not committal with anybody right now. This is the time of year where he's going to go into that dark room and he'll emerge in a week like Punxsutawney. Aaron will call him. We'll knock on the thing. Aaron, can you see your shadow in there? No.
Yeah, he'll speak to his elders or whatever he does in his his smoke lodge.
Yeah. It's good money if you can get it. We'll see.
He approaches his career with the mysticism of John Locke. He's going to be out there hunting boar and getting chased by a pillar of smoke.
There it is. Speaking of a pillar of smoke, that's it's kind of what I see in the WBC this year.
The king of the segue over here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about the smoke monster, but the WBC has its Final Four, and on one side of that Final Four is the smoke monster. I think what a dream matchup: the United States, the Dominican Republic, 1-2 in like power rankings, if you want to call them that. The U.S. got past a scrappy Canada team, and the DR went out and mercy ruled Korea.
Yeah.
So we have Paul Skeens on the mound for the Americans. The DR has an all-star lineup, top to bottom, and Luis Severino on the mound. The last 5 games the DR have played, they've outscored their opponents 51-10. Wow. And the U.S. backed into the round robin thanks to Italy. So this is going to be something.
What concerns me is, and what leads me to believe that the Dominican team has to be, pretty heavily favored here, is how seriously the United States is not taking this.
Correct. Yeah, and that's on the manager La Rosa. or De La Rosa or whatever his
Mark DeRosa,
former Ranger. Yeah,
and they asked Andy Pettit, the pitching coach, what his approach would be to facing the Dominican lineup, and Pettit was just like, "I'm really underwater with these preparations. I don't know." And it's like, Andy, it's kind of your job, dude. Watch some film, man.
That might have been his way of saying, "I'm not going to give you an answer." He's not well attuned in Bill Belichickese.
But it just feels like it's just spring training with more expensive commercials.
Yeah, well, at least for the U.S. team, Aaron Judge might be the best player in the world and the last player I'd want up with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. Bryce Harper has yet to get an extra base hit this WBC, and Tariq School said, "I've had enough. I'm going home."
Like truly, that's the level of commitment here.
Yeah, and on the other hand, we'll talk about Venezuela here in a second, but like almost every other team is so into this, which is really cool to see. The Dominican Republic, every time they launch some home run, they are dancing, they're flipping the bats, and the old school baseball fan is probably watching like old man.
It's like a World Cup atmosphere. It's super fun.
That's what baseball needs. They don't need like all of the rigmarole and the bat flips and stuff, but they need excitement.
Like when you see like the Korean leagues and Japanese baseball, and you see like they're doing pitching changes, like where they're coming out in like futuristic like hover cars, like that's a lot of fun. Yeah,
I got to look that up after this.
And
Japanese bullpen car. Okay.
And I mean, even Italy with their espresso in the dugout, they have an espresso machine.
That's amazing. No, so I mean, outside of this game, so the United States DR, Paul Skeens on the mound. First of all, the United States has to get all kinds of length out of him to be even close to competitive.
I think that's their best hope, is that Skeens just absolutely buzzsaws his way through that lineup somehow.
He gets 95 pitches, and he's going to have to make use of them. So if they can get 7 out of him, that would be amazing, because the DR's bullpen is rested, and they're good. If it becomes a bullpen game, the DR wins this going away.
Yeah.
On the other side, where I think beginning of the tournament or the event, we looked at maybe the Americans and Japanese who are going to meet again in the finals. Not so fast. Venezuela came to town yesterday, and like my head was kind of messed up. I was very tired. I couldn't stay. I didn't stay up, and I wanted to watch this game. I think I fell asleep after the Japan went up 5-3. Mitsushito, I think was the guy's name, hit a rocket home run. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And next thing I know, it's 6:00 in the morning because I just woke up. But I watched the highlights of this one, and when Wilyer Abreu hits, Venezuela gets themselves in a situation. The runner on first, hit and run, runners on the corners. They're down by 1. A single can tie the game. Wilyer Abreu absolutely launches one 700 feet. Like, not too many times would you see the highlight and, oh, yeah, that's definitely gone. This is what I'm talking about, the Little League environment. Everybody jumping over the fence. They meet him at home plate. Everybody is so pumped. Venezuela is, if that's not the Cinderella story of this WBC, then Italy is, and that's who they're playing in the Final Four. Yeah, the Italians who knocked off the Americans, they're a fun group to watch. And they've only had like 4 people born in Italy. It's like it's like the American B team from Jersey.
Yeah, it's like Jersey and Michigan. The semifinal feels very unbalanced, where you have the traditional powers of the Dominican and the U.S. Now, Venezuela is a baseball power.
Yeah.
But Italy's definitely a Cinderella here.
But this is the 2003 ALCS and NLCS. You have Boston, New York in one game, and you got Florida, Chicago in the other. And I'll tell you what, I might pick Venezuela to win it all now. I think Venezuela probably beats Italy. It's a bummer, I know. But.
Yeah, I mean, I would think Venezuela would have to be favored, but baseball, more than any other sport, more prone to upsets and fluky things.
You're as good as your next starting pitcher.
And then I mean, I think it's going to be a Venezuela Dominican final, but yeah,
I can't argue with that.
it's
Can't
like
argue.
it's like you'd said how it's Venezuela fun, Italy fun, Dominican fun, and then like the U.S. clubhouse, they have like someone in there talking about the day they hunted down Bin Laden. They brought in someone from SEAL Team 6 to give the pregame speech.
What?
It's like, way to kill the room, dude.
Oh my gosh.
And that's when Zero Dark 30 was upon us, gentlemen.
Oh.
Game time in 5 minutes, Dan. First pitch. Wrap it up.
Jeez. No, so I mean that's oh boy. And that, you know what, that's a good lead in, I think, here. In terms of the list. I'm watching this game, the U.S. Canada game it was Friday night because we were at a hotel. Derek had a jazz concert in Dover, PA, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. I'm watching the game, and you know who's going to make the list today? LG, the company that made the TV in my hotel. I didn't take a picture of it during the game, but it was the same thing the next day. They have this like cover over top of what you're watching, basically advertising their system. So when the top picture there, you see like the faded picture of Jeff Passan there on the worldwide leader.
Yeah. I'm
trying to see the score and the count because that's where the bug is on the bottom right. It's covered by stupid LG's little advertising. So guess what, LG? You just made the list.
Now, on a scale from 1 to 10, of 1 being like you just barely made the list, like we wrote it in pencil, and 10 being like it's written in Sharpie in all caps, where does this annoyance fall?
It's a solid 8. Especially since I'm trying to watch a live game and I'm trying to watch, what's the count? I don't know what inning it is because we just got in. No, it's a solid 8. And do I have an LG TV? Maybe. Am I going to get rid of it? No, probably not. But I don't foresee me buying a new one anytime soon. Like getting super excited about. Oh, we got to get the LG model.
We're going to see a video of you. It's like when Kid Rock was taking an assault rifle and shooting at cans of Budweiser beer. Like, we'll just see you in your backyard, like taping M80s to your TV.
No, but you know what? Getting rid of a TV, a tangent into this. Is there anything tougher in this world than getting rid of a flat screen TV that you don't want? You can't throw it away. You have to wait till these bulk pickups.
Performing brain surgery might be harder.
I don't have to do that.
Oh, that's fair.
I mean, of things I have to do.
I know for me, because I had to get rid of a TV about a year ago, and there's like an electronics place but I had to pay them $20 to take it off my hands.
Oh, who's that?
I forget the name.
No. Because guess what?
I really do.
They just made the list.
Yeah,
on your behalf.
I had to call like the garbage service, and they were like, "Oh, we don't take that." And then I had to call the town recycling. We don't take that.
That's why you find these TVs like under bridges on the Susquehanna. Like we'll drive by like 3, 2, 1, yoink, out it goes.
It's all a big racket.
It is. So it's a lot of anger here.
You know what? Actually, now I'm angry. Let's put them on the list.
Well, I told you, find out who it is. They're on the list.
I'm too laid back.
All right, quick hitter time. Here we go.
All right.
We're going to get into high school stuff now. And my current school, Chambersburg, pulled off maybe a district upset in states. They did a convincing win over Coatesville in the first round of the PIAA 6A tournament. Coatesville has the number 3 rated sophomore in the country, and they held them down for the first 3 quarters. And they pulled out a big win. They dropped their second round game against Pittsburgh Central Catholic, but a really good, let's shout out to the Chambersburg basketball team, really good season for them. And I have one of the kids in class. I think I've taught him every year of his high school career. And I like the coach. I think Coach Schreffler is one of the nicest guys, one of the most knowledgeable guys about high school basketball. So, yay, Trojans.
Way to go, Chambersburg.
There you go. And for you in your end of the world, Benton still alive in the girls 1A states. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, there are a couple teams around me that are still alive. Southern Columbia girls.
Is that 4A?
I believe they're 3.
No, yeah, because Scranton Prep is in the Final Four there. Let's go to the 3. I have the brackets here because I thought it'd be neat to look at some of the ones that.
And Central Columbia girls are undefeated. They're very good.
Oh my!
I believe they're 4.
Oh no, I lied to you. I'm sorry. Benton not alive. Benton was alive as of yesterday when I put the quick hitters together.
I didn't look at today's paper.
They dropped it. I mean, Delco Christian, the top seed out of District 1. You know, but a fine run by the Benton girls. Let's give them that.
Yeah, Benton. I mean, that's a like it's you can drive through Benton and not see a traffic light for 40 miles out of town. It's that small, and that's not an exaggeration. You can go from the outskirts of Bloomsburg, and it won't be until you get to like Dallas and Back Mountain, Wilkes-Barre area that you'll see a traffic light.
Amazing. Tomorrow night at Penns Valley High School in Spring Mills, Berlin Brothers Valley, top seed out of District 5, will take on the ladies from Southern Columbia. That's the state Final Four game. That's really cool. Make it that far. Crestwood also in the state Final Four in terms of teams around, where we would be.
Yeah.
Gavio's gals from Hazelton, they dropped their quarterfinal to Upper Dublin. There we go. That's the high school news.
This is the merits of the 6-class system, that more schools have something to be excited about this time of year.
Indeed. And some of them you start to wonder, I've never heard of some of these schools. For example, the Obama Academy out near Pittsburgh. They were.
That's a new one.
Yeah. Friendship Prep or whatever. I don't know. You get some weird names.
This time of year, the Obama Academy, they're just running on that audacity of hope.
Yep, there it is. All right, number 3. Today in sports/baseball history, Cincinnati attorney Aaron Champion hires former cricket player Harry Wright to organize, manage, and play for the very first professional baseball team, the Cincinnati Red Stockings. And Tim, an early Mr. Smarty Pants, they played 64 games that first year. Do you know how many games they won?
Well, if they were the first team, I like their chances. It was all inter-squad, like split squad, right?
No. I guess they played other teams.
Oh, that would make
professional
sense.
Teams.
Out of 64 games, I'm going to say they won 56.
Close. They actually won 64. They won all of them.
Oh, I was right the first time.
You were. All right. So now I have to look something up because I don't know the answer to this, but I have a feeling that you might.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Yesterday was a special day. You know how they say that Valentine's Day was invented by Hallmark to sell cards?
Yeah.
I think Pi Day was invented to sell more math. So
I thought you were going to say sell more pie.
Well, that maybe. Yesterday was, in fact, Pi Day, 3.14. Tim, how many digits of pi do you know?
I can't get past 3.14. I've forgotten the string after 4.
I don't know what now I need to look this up.
It might be like 3.141.
Well, you got 1. There you go.
Yeah, and then after that, I don't
Take
know.
a guess. You got a 1 in 9 shot.
8.
No, it's 5.
So close.
The world record for memorizing and reciting the most decimal places of pi, 70,000, held by Veer Meena of India. Nerd. He recited it wearing a blindfold for nearly 10 hours. Dude, save some girls for the rest of us. Just saying. Wow.
Yeah, come on, give a brother a chance.
Yeah. So I was watching TikTok yesterday, and I saw this video, and I know where you're going with this, but I figure whenever I see stuff like this, I'll pull it out. The guy says the idea is he's showing 2 groups of different sporting events, and he says the idea is these are the only sporting events you'll ever get to watch for the rest of your life. You'll never get to see the others. So group 1, you ready?
I saw this.
You saw it?
Yeah.
Okay, he had the Masters, MLB postseason, the college football playoff, and the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
versus the NFL playoffs, March Madness, the NBA playoffs, and FIFA. I'm saying you're going Group 2.
I'm Group 2.
That's I figured, because with March Madness, and you are a bigger fan of the NBA than I think a lot of the TikTokosphere that I'm on. I'd have a harder time with this because I don't like golf and I don't like hockey.
But I love the baseball postseason and the college football playoff.
Yeah, I'm more into baseball and college football than I am pro football and basketball. So I would probably be a Group 1 guy. But I thought it was interesting. I saw this. I'm like, dude, I can't show Tim this because I know he's going to pick Group 2. It's not even a
it wasn't even a debate in my mind. Like, as soon as I looked at them both, I was like, oh, no brainer.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Number 6, World Wrestling Entertainment is selling Hall of Fame tickets. So, like, when they do their Hall of Fame induction the night before WrestleMania, they're going to induct Stephanie McMahon, AJ Styles, and Axe and Smash of Demolition are the current class. You can buy a Hall of Fame ticket. Guess how much?
It's going to be something obscene.
Oh, it's obscene.
Is it more than $250?
Multiply that by 3.
Get the hell out of here.
$750
That
for the
is
upper
robbery.
tier.
That is highway robbery.
I'm aware of this because I saw it on a video, and so I didn't vet it. So
who do they think I am?
Maybe
Ted
not.
DiBiase?
But still, we'll get to that in a second. But like they're saying, if you want to go to the Hall of Fame inductions in Cooperstown, you know what you have to pay?
Nothing, right?
Your time. You get there first, you get in. It's a 0 ticket. No, yeah, but the $1 Million Man could absolutely pay $750 to go watch Axe and Smash get inducted into the Hall of Fame. But
he'd have Virgil take the wad out of the spangly vest, the sleeveless diamond studded vest. Like all butlers wear.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing I saw, this was online, and I have no question, it's really just a statement because it's kind of ridiculous to me. Katz's Deli in New York allegedly serves
on Houston Street
70,000 pounds of meat in 1 week. How crazy is that?
I'd believe it. Because I don't know if you've ever seen like any of the videos. It's a bit of a tourist trap place, but they're always busy and their sandwiches are loaded.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for $30, what do you want?
Yeah, it's like 2 or 3 meals, one sandwich. So I believe.
All right, last one. It's an interesting week for you and I. St. Patty's Day coming up this Tuesday, which reminds me that as I was setting up my show space here, I found this bag. It says Holly Jolly, and inside the bag, you ready for this?
Yeah, let's see here.
We have old candy canes from Christmas
that
I have. So, I mean, I'm wondering, do you think they should start selling candy shillelaghs? Do you think that could we make that a thing?
Well, they sell those Orion potatoes that are like the coconut candies with the brown sugar on the outside.
Okay.
If you go to a lot of grocery stores will have them like by the seasonal display by the St. Patty's stuff.
I've never seen that.
It's a little white box of candy.
Candy potatoes. What could be more Irish than that?
They look like little potatoes, and you bite into it. There's a little brown sugar on the outside, and then it's like sweet coconut on the inside. It's really good.
I like it. And if one of my fraternity brothers named Jake Vogel is watching, and I'm going to link this to him. Jake, I'd like to wish you a very happy St. Patty's Day. If you know, you know.
And everything else on St. Patty's Day, the Guinness, the soda bread, all your cabbages and corned beefs. It has its place, but it's just to remind you about how bitter and dark life is.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's take a sidestep there. Because I was talking to Roseanne about this. I forget when. Have you ever had green beer?
No.
You've never done that?
No.
Because I did, and it didn't taste any different. It's just food coloring. It's just
right.
It's like Crystal Pepsi. It's a fun little thing that drives sales up for that day.
It's just, it's funny because in my family, my dad's parents thought St. Patrick's Day was really funny because it would be like, if you're like American, you would go to another country and they had like America Day, and everyone was walking around with cowboy hats and 6-shooters and like, howdy, partner. So like my grandparents saw like the tacky like Kelly Green bowler hats, and they like I remember my grandmother gave me like what blackjack dealers wear, the visor with like a translucent green
I know exactly
visor and white shamrocks on it.
We all had that, sure.
Yeah. So like St. Patrick's Day and like the green beer and everything was more kind of like just like amusing and like an endearing way though. But yeah,
I think that's what it was for me. Like everybody else was doing it. I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll have some green beer and whatever. If you're a fan of Guinness though, you can't make that green. That comes out as motor oil.
Yeah.
So it's not a sin, it's an impossibility.
I'm sure there's like chemically there has to be a way.
No, it's too dark. Too done.
Well, there are other like there's pale Guinness. Like not just you can't with the stout maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the Guinness I know. Another side story. One of the very first, it might have been the first WBC that I went to. Not World Baseball Classic, World Board Gaming Championships. I'm at the bar with my dad.
Coincidentally, the Dominicans are also fantastic at the board games.
Not as good as the Canadians, but sure. But anyway, so my dad wants to go to the bar, and I'm 23, 24. Like, so I'm just out of college, and I'm well versed in beer. So my dad, we're sitting at the bar. He points to the Guinness stout draft and tells the bartender, "Give me one of those." And I looked at him. I'm like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Oh yeah." And this is like, I didn't see my dad drink a lot when I was in high school. I remember the one day in the summer he was having a beer, and I'm like, "What are you doing? I've never seen this before." So now my dad is going to drink a Guinness, and I said, "Dad, this isn't going to end well for you." I think he had 2 or 3 sips, and he's like, "Yeah, you're right." And the bartender traded it for him. He was nice. He gave him like a Yingling or a Budweiser, something more Bob's level. I wasn't about to drink a Guinness, and like I'm 23, and like at the height of my prime as far as drinking goes, like I'm not going to get. I talk about Guinness now. I'm going to get a hangover. That's what I mean. Like I'm not.
Oh, same.
Flying off the handle here, but Bob got 2 or 3 sips, and he's like, "Yeah, this is not what I thought it was." What did you think it was? It's meal in a glass.
I was always a fan of the Guinness, just because I like tart and sour. I like black coffee.
Okay, there you go. Some expert drinking advice from Soup and Meatballs. Favorite part of the day. It's draft time.
Woo!
And not Guinness draft.
I see. Yeah, not DRAUGHT. We're in the States, people.
Woohoo! So
these colors don't run.
What are we drafting today?
You had suggested, and I thought it was a great idea. It was to, or no, I suggested.
Yeah, I'm like, you get me nervous.
Top 5.
I said we could have drafted that, but
drafting since it's Selection Sunday,
it is.
Our favorite college basketball players who did not attend Michigan, since we're both Michigan fans, and we would just cherry pick Fab 5 guys. Yeah.
Now I will tell you, and this goes to my overall love of college basketball. I like, and I will not hate if a lot of teams win. I like Syracuse. I like UConn. I respect Duke and Kentucky. So on my list, I tried to stay away from, picking all Syracuse players or all players from one school.
Yeah, mine's a pretty good grab bag.
Okay, so let's get this. I am all shuffled here.
Okay.
Let's learn a little history. Number and color.
7 black.
3, 4, 5, 6. Here's the 7th one. Oop. It is black, by the way. So it looked like I pulled a fast one, but I didn't. This is the Compromise of 1850. There's a lot of text here. You're not getting all this.
Yeah.
Passed in September of 1850, the Compromise consisted of 5 laws dealing with slavery. In 1849, California wanted to enter the Union as a free state, which would upset the balance between free and slave states in the U.S. Senate. introduced by Henry Clay. This was an attempt to compromise. So cool deal. The compromise of 1850 nets you the very first pick in the draft.
Well, that means
There
I
you
don't
go.
have to compromise when I say that the first person I thought of, and you mentioned Duke. He's a Dookie. Is Mr. Grant Hill.
Oh, excellent. Grant Hill was the recipient of one of the coolest alley-oops I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Like an alley-oop that seemed to come from half court where he just went up impossibly high and threw it down. He was just like the season he had in 94. Like he'd been on those Leitner Hurley teams and he won the 2 titles. But when it was his turn and he took a Duke team that was him, Cherokee Parks, Antonio Lang, and a couple
Lang.
And they almost won a title. They lost to that Corliss Williams and Scotty Thurman Arkansas team. But Grant Hill had a great run that season. And, he's one of the great what-ifs of the NBA.
I would say it's still a really solid NBA career. But
Hall of Fame career.
The injuries with Detroit really. You know what was only worse than his injury situation in Detroit? The uniforms they were wearing.
Yeah,
that awful logo
with the horse.
Ugh.
But if you remember when Jordan was leaving the Bulls, when he was retiring for the second time before he went to Washington, and there were all these like panicked think pieces written about who's going to take the mantle from Jordan. Like, it was Dr. J before Jordan, who's going to be after. And the name that was most frequently thrown out there was Grant Hill. Like some people would say Penny Hardaway, or, it was around the time of like Iverson coming into the league. But Grant Hill was just seen as the guy, 6'8", good defender,
good ball handler.
Yeah, he was a lot like Scottie Pippen, but a much better offensive player, much more explosive and a better shooter. And all of that was evident right away from the time he was a freshman. He was a contributor on those really good back-to-back Duke teams.
Yeah, so that's a tremendous first pick. Didn't make my lists. So
well, if nothing else, it allowed me to name check Cherokee Parks.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I think it's funny that you mentioned the finals against Arkansas, because when I think of players outside of teams I root for, I don't root for Arkansas. But I'm going to take Scotty Thurman because let me tell you something. His range started in the locker room.
Yeah.
And he wore the really cool Fab Five shorts.
Yep.
So like he had what you would consider the look. And he didn't have an NBA career to fall back on. So like as far as college goes, I don't know if Arkansas retired his number or did anything like that with him. Whatever.
They should have, if only for the shot that a very contested shot that he hit that basically clinched the title game against Duke.
Just a really cool player to watch in an era where that Arkansas team was noted for their 40 minutes of hell defense. And again, we talked about this earlier. The 3-point shot was not a big deal in the early 90s, but when certain players had the ball, you had to watch it. And Scotty Thurman was one of those guys. He had crazy.
That's when a guy who was a 3-point special, like it was a very specialized player.
Yeah.
It was usually a guy who's not a slasher, who wasn't going to the basket.
Rob Pelinka.
Right. Yeah. Like you think of like Trajan Langdon, Scotty Thurman, guys who didn't necessarily go on to star in the NBA.
Yeah.
I remember reading an anecdote about Scotty Thurman that he used to practice to arc his shots. When he would at shoot-arounds, he would have an assistant coach run at him holding a broom up.
Yeah.
And that's
now a thing.
That's what he credits for giving him the arc on the shot that beat Duke.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Scotty Thurman, number one. Number two.
My number two, I'm going with he's only half man because he's also half amazing. I'm going somewhere else in North Carolina for Mr. Vince Carter.
Yeah. That's he was cool to watch back then.
I've just got a soft spot for like those high flyers.
Was he teamed up with Anton Jameson back in the days? Were they about the same time? Yeah, those were really good Carolina teams.
You went from a Carolina team that had Jerry Stackhouse and Rasheed Wallace, and then they get out of there, and now you have Jameson and Carter.
He won a title then that year, didn't he?
No, they didn't win a title. They went to a Final
Jameson
Four.
Won a title.
They went to a Final Four when it was after Dean Smith. It was for Bill Guthridge.
Okay.
And Vince Carter also. It's a very endearing story that he was kind of like a self-described band geek in high school. I
really?
played the tuba in the high school band.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is the band Dad and Me. Hey, Chambers marching band.
Right. During the fall, like during football season, he wasn't like really a multi-sport guy. Like, he might have played track in the spring. I mean, with the jumping ability, but yeah, he was playing in the band.
And how about this? Vince Carter goes to his college graduation during the NBA playoffs, and then he goes back to catch a flight to play for the Raptors against the Sixers. Yeah. That's a cool story too. So good on Carter.
And the best in-game dunk I've ever seen, when the dunk of death over Frederick Weiss in the Olympics.
It was called the dunk of death?
The dunk of death. Where he leapt a 7-foot Frenchman.
You're right, it is. It's called dunk of death. I love it.
Yeah, the dunk of death. And then he got so excited he almost punched Kevin Garnett in the face by accident. Like he came up and he like pumped his fist, and Garnett was coming to congratulate him. And every time I watch that video, I'm like, oh, he's gonna jack Garnett. He missed last time, but he's gonna catch him this time. Yeah, Vince Carter.
One of the best all-time in-game dunks. I think my favorite is still the Sean Kemp one where he lays it back and then he points
comes
at the
down.
guy.
Yeah, he comes down and double points at Alton Lister.
Yeah, I didn't know who it was, but like the whole that part that gets it for me.
Yeah,
but I couldn't tell you where Sean Kemp went to college, so I'm not going to pick him.
He was a Indiana guy who briefly played at Kentucky, or he was on the roster at Kentucky.
Oh,
but I don't believe he ever played a minute in college.
Don't know. Not going to worry about it. My number 2 pick, I'm going to go with, since you took Grant Hill number 1, I got nervous. Like, is he going to take my number 1? I took Thurman ahead of this guy, figuring, you're not going to take 2 Duke guys in a row. But I think one of my favorite all-time college basketball players of any school, anywhere, is Bobby Hurley.
Sure.
I loved Hurley during those years. And I remember the 92 game that we saw together, sort of saw together. You were writing a report during the time when, was it Phelps or Pelfrey, whoever hit that bank shot that put Kentucky up by 2. You had Grant Hill throwing the pass and Leitner hitting the shot. And my dad, God bless him, trying to make me feel good. He's like, Bobby Hurley called the timeout. Like, I'm sure everybody called the timeout, but they credited Hurley. All-time leader in assists, just a really a scrappy guy from Jersey who, you didn't want to get on the wrong side of, because he might have been small, but he'd punch you in the face.
A classic coach's son.
Yeah.
Might have had his NBA career cut short by the car accident. He was drafted, I think it was 7th by the Kings.
The Kings, yeah.
And he was never quite the same after the car accident during his rookie year. But yeah, he was you just think of how great those Duke teams were with him, Leitner, both Hills, Brian Davis, just a really worthy running mate to Christian Leitner.
And the 30 for 30 that I hate Christian Leitner really kind of like it takes you into the locker room, which is kind of interesting to see that
Hurley did not like Leitner.
Well, they clashed on a personality level, which if you think about it, you got a kid from a prep school and a kid from New Jersey. If you put them in the same room, I don't think they're going to get along very well. But they played really well on the court. So credit to them for putting past their personal differences. They just wanted to win. That's the one thing they had in common.
Yeah. And that's a common story in sports is, can people put those egos aside for the ultimate goal? I'm going to go back to – no, I'm actually going to go with a different one on my list. I'm going to go with a guy who anytime this is before like college basketball was on every channel every night. So if you got a game with this guy, it was an event. And that's Shaquille O'Neal at LSU.
Okay.
Where, you just have to understand, if you weren't there watching basketball in 1991, 1992, that everything you were hearing about this giant at LSU, it was like hearing myths about like a dragon. Like, oh, you don't go down, you don't drive the lane when you get to Louisiana. No, you pull up for the mid range.
Yeah.
And then you see this guy pulling down backboards, and he's 7'2" and 300 pounds. He was just, and especially for us being in like 7th, 8th grade, and you see that, and you're like, whoa. He just, he seemed like not like superhuman.
And you talk about a change in personality. I don't think there's any greater dichotomy in any sport where on the court, Shaq is, like you said, he's a dragon, and he would go out and absolutely throttle people. But then off the court, he might be the biggest kid on this planet. And I think it was the same way back then. We just didn't see it because, social media wasn't a thing. The internet wasn't a thing. So you didn't get to see like behind the curtain so much. But I think just having Shaq as a college teammate, that would have been like the highlight of somebody's life. Just how cool he would have been off the court, but how menacing he was on the court.
And you're right. It's interesting that the same guy who could dunk on and then push down and stand over, Chris Dudley, was then also starring in Shazam and rapping with Foo Schnickens.
I'm trying to see where LSU was back in Shaq's time.
They were. I mean, they went to the tournament, but they weren't anything special in the SEC.
No. So like
Kentucky was the power.
20-10, 21-10, 23-9 back in 90. So I don't know where Shaq would have been then. But I mean, they're a first weekend exit in the NCAA tournament.
But he had one of the guys.
Really
I think
cool
it was
to watch.
BYU. That he had one of the great tournament games where he was just swatting shots into the stands. Just a real menace.
Cool deal. Yeah. Where am I going to go? I don't have them ranked. I just listed a bunch, and this was me. I was sending myself a voice message on the drive home from Dover. So, I'll take my Syracuse guy here, and he was, I think, one of my first favorite players from Syracuse, based largely on where I thought I played in playground basketball. I'm going to take Adrian Autry, who did not have a very good run as a coach, but as a point guard for Syracuse, led some really good Orange teams, at really good backcourt with Lawrence Moten back in the early 90s.
Moten.
And sweet Lawrence, come on, man. And they had some cool hair back then, too, speaking of. But Adrian Autry was fun to watch in that era when the Big East would come on. I want to say it was Big Monday on ESPN, because I think the ACC or the Big Ten was on Tuesdays. When they had that college basketball show this was back when Dick Vitale would have been in the studio.
Yeah.
They had Jim Valvano in the studio. They would have a doubleheader, and the Big East, I think it was Big Monday. So if you got a Syracuse game, you got to see, I got to see Autry and Moten back then. And he wasn't like, I don't think he was ever going to be an All-American, or he might have been an All-Conference guy. He was just the best point guard that Syracuse had.
It's funny how like there are random guys like that, because I think one of the first guys like that for me was Todd Day at Arkansas.
Todd Day was
a lot of people,
shooter.
a name that a lot of people don't even really think of anymore. But
he ended up with
he was
Milwaukee
a guy for whatever reason, that I was like, wow, look at that guy.
Here's a guy that averaged 12 points a game, 5 assists a game, but he was my guy for a while.
And like this is still the thing that I think people who didn't watch basketball in the 80s and 90s can't quite understand is that this was still when cable was like securing these contracts, and like these games weren't always available, so it was a treat when you got to see these guys.
Yeah. So like I said, if ESPN ran a Big East game every Monday, I mean, you might have gotten Villanova against Providence.
Yeah, honestly, you were looking at some rotation of like Villanova, Georgetown, UConn, Syracuse. It was really a roll of the dice of who you were going to get.
Yeah, and you'd have to rely on every 15 minutes, ESPN's little thing would the screen would shrink and you'd get the scores of other games at the bottom. This was also about the same time when I would wake up for school and 98.5 KRZ would do a little sports bump.
Oh yeah,
for like 5 minutes while I was putting my contacts in, and you'd get like 5 seconds of who won the Bulls game last night.
Yeah,
so didn't have it on your phone.
I can guarantee you he was not on my list.
Woo-hoo.
But I'm going to go with my first guy who did not play in the 90s. And for this one, I will go back to Duke for a guy who has been a little disappointing, more than a little disappointing in the NBA because he's shown flashes. It's Zion.
Zion, oh man, when he broke his shoe, it was an ACC tournament game, or it might have been an NCAA tournament. When his shoe exploded, that's like a core basketball memory of mine, and that's not at a time when I was really big into basketball. But like, dude, he took a plant step and his foot exploded.
Like just seeing him run the floor, the way he would dunk with so much power.
Yeah.
Seeing him like jump up and swat shots at like 6'8". The comparisons to Barkley are so apt, and it's just a shame we haven't been able to see more of him because he the weight and some health issues.
Yeah. And
people have kind of questioned, like now when the injuries have mounted, people question the work ethic and his motivation.
That's coaching though. You go to a school like Duke and you work under a coach like Krzyzewski, and then you go to New Orleans. You're a Pelican.
Yeah.
And your first real taste of real money that changes somebody too.
There's a reason why he's the first guy post 2000 who's on my list. I can't think of anyone else who was more exciting post 2000 than Zion.
Yeah, well, I don't. I'm looking at my list here. They're all old.
Yeah, but the bulk of mine are 90s. I have one other 2000 guy who I might have on my list.
I mean, I could have Carmelo, but I took Adrian, so I'm going to stay away from. I could have taken Jerry McNamara too, just for the local NEPA connection, but I will.
And Jerry's coaching now.
I hope he coaches Syracuse. Get him out of where he's some weird college name. But he's coaching well there, so we'll see. I'm going to go with somebody who would be very interesting to see in a prime versus prime college career against Zion, because he might have been Zion before Zion with UNLV. I'm going to pick Larry Johnson.
That's a great pick.
Who just
he almost made my list.
Almost. But the transformational marketing that he did with Grandmama, but people forget how much of a problem he was at UNLV with one of the greatest college basketball teams ever that went 31-1. What was it? Won the national title in 1990?
Yeah, and beat Duke by 30 points in the championship game.
And
it was a loaded roster, and he was the
Stacey
no doubt about it.
was there.
Anderson Hunt
was the other. I couldn't think of the other name, but yeah, LJ was something else. And then getting to see him play with the Knicks was kind of cool.
Yeah, he was a big part of that run when they were the 8th seed in the strike shortened season in '99 when he hit the 4-point play against the Pacers. And when they ended up losing to the Spurs in the finals, Duncan's second year.
But he also was, and this is going to sound weird. Back in the 90s, players wore shorts and a tank top. To see somebody wear a T-shirt was kind of strange, and it made them stand out a little bit. And I think Larry Johnson might have been one of the first players I saw wearing a T-shirt. I'm like, oh, he looks like me on the playground.
And the gold tooth.
He's just a lot bigger, stronger, faster, better.
He's built like a fullback.
Yeah. Larry Johnson at fullback for the Running Rebel football team? I'd sign me up for that.
And he's another what if kind of guy because the back injuries sort of derailed his career. Because you think about what he was doing in Charlotte and the sort of track he was on. Him and Mourning couldn't quite get on the same page because they both wanted to be the guy.
Yeah, and that's Mourning wasn't the guy offensively.
And
he was more of a defensive guy.
They both kind of had what ifs. Mourning less so, but the kidney forced him to retire because he had to lose a kidney to renal failure.
Sure.
But LJ with the back, like if he could have stayed healthy, you just wonder what else he could have done in that career.
Last one.
My last one. This is tough because I've got some names here.
I have 7 left. I have 6. I picked him.
I'm gonna go with a guy who had a good career in the NBA, but not what was expected when he was coming out of college, and that's Jamal Mashburn.
Okay, so that's the first guy you took that was on my list.
Okay.
He was my Kentucky guy. In 93 when Michigan played Kentucky in the Final Four.
Kentucky was the best team in the country, I think.
Mashburn, once he had the ball in his hands, I mean, the scoreboard operator was probably just, okay, +2. He was so hard to stop. And he's the first name I think of when you say the word slasher.
Yeah. And that was a team, you talk about how teams didn't really chuck up threes like they do now. But those Pitino, Kentucky teams were shooting like 20 to 25 three-pointers a game. So Mashburn could fill it up from the outside. He could slap to the hole. Just a complete player. He was really good in Dallas when they had him and Jimmy Jackson and Jason Kidd. And he kind of bounced around the league. He was in Miami for a while. But I remember when he was coming out of Kentucky, I thought he was going to be like an annual 25 point per game guy, 25 to 27 point per game guy.
I mean, he averaged 21 his junior year, first team All-American, and that's for a consensus All-American.
Because I remember
and
that
All-American. He was cool to watch. Oh, dude, that first team is 1990. Oh boy, that's great. As far as 90s basketball goes, Weber's a first teamer.
Montross is maybe second team.
Second teamer.
Calbert Chaney.
Calbert Chaney was on the first team. Look at you. Pre-list, Mr. Smarty Pants. Penny Hardaway was also on the first team along with Bobby Hurley.
Oh yeah.
Oh, look at some of these names. Some of these names made my list. Oh wow. I forgot about Rodney Rogers.
Oh, at Wake Forest. Yeah,
I feel like Obi-Wan. That is a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Rodney Rogers.
Isaiah Ryder from UNLV. Look at that. Malik Sealy. Oh, dude, Malik Sealy. I love him.
From St. John's?
Yeah. Dude. Oh, I could.
Let's go back to the 90s.
I could spend an hour on the consensus All-American page from 1990 to 1999 and just be like, oh, this is amazing. But instead of doing that for the sake of the show, I would say a
suggestion real quick before you give your 5th pick.
Absolutely.
Can we do at some time in the future a 90s themed, like down to us dressing in 90s stuff, a 90s themed episode?
I don't see why not. Yeah, I already know what I can wear.
Perfect.
Cool.
I'll wear my my Hazelton Letterman jacket. I still have both of them.
I still have mine. It's got some funk on the sleeves. The pleather has not aged well.
Yeah, it has not.
It's icky. But speaking of not aging well, I don't think he did much in the NBA. But here's a guy who I remember seeing on those big Mondays in the Big East. He played for Seton Hall. Seton Hall is D2.
Oh, Terry DeHare?
And he got a little bit of your name in him. Yeah, let's go Terry DeHare, who just another guy who, whenever he had the ball, you felt like, well, there's 2 points for Seton Hall.
Yeah.
Just
you're right. He's a guy that time forgot a little bit.
I forget. Oh, apparently he played for the Kings. No kidding.
I don't know if he might have been like an honorable mention All-American.
Clippers. I'm trying to look up his college numbers, where they would have it. He was a second-team All-American in that. I saw his name there. Second-team All-American, 1993. But wow. Just a problem scorer, averaged more points per game as a senior than Jamal Mashburn did as a junior. He averaged 22 points a game.
Wow.
And the 93 Seton Hall Pirates finished 28-7. They were the Big East champs that year, and they finished sixth in the final poll.
Playing for PJ Carlos.
PJ Carlos, you got it, man. They also had Luther Wright on that team. Luther Wright, the big guy down in the middle. Yeah. I remember him. He was one of those guys that if you saw him in a dark alley, you'd be like, oh, because he looked scary. 7'2". Oh, what are they listing him at? 270. Oh my gosh.
Whew. Boy, I'm surprised by all the Big East love that you're showing.
I like the Big East growing up, and you know what? When Syracuse left, and then the Big East kind of died. Like the Big East was the best basketball in the country for a long time. They were the SEC of college basketball.
That was the bulk of what was on TV when I was growing up in Jersey. That was the bulk of what was on. Like in the 80s, it was Chris Mullin at St. John's. It was
I spread my love out too. I mean, I got Arkansas, Duke, and UNLV.
I was kind of Duke and Carolina heavy, I guess. I have two Duke guys, a Carolina, and LSU, and a Kentucky.
Who else do you have on your short list that you didn't get the name?
Someone who's on my list, the other post 90 or post 2000 guy, the aforementioned Steph Curry, just for that run where like he was going out and dropping threes in 08 for Davidson. You're like, who is this guy? What? Del Curry's son? How did he fall through the cracks?
Yeah.
And then the story that Duke offered him or whatever, or he didn't like that Duke was preferred walk on or whatever.
Okay.
But Steph Curry was on my list. Another guy who had a pretty charmed run to the final, but couldn't quite get over the hump, but was a lot of fun to watch. Keith Van Horn at Utah. He was only there 1 year, but seeing a little guy like Iverson, and he was a guy who could throw down. Iverson was a lot of fun to watch. Ray Allen, you talk about a UConn guy. And then talking about or keeping it in the Big East. Again, the aforementioned Alonzo Mourning.
Oh, so Mourning made my list. And,
with the gray shirt under the gray jersey.
Largely for the gray shirt, because he looked and he was swatting everything in sight, too.
Yep. And, one Syracuse guy did make my list, DC Derek Coleman.
Okay, cool. I have four others. So Mourning was one. The UConn player I picked was Scotty Burrell.
Oh, yeah.
He was fun. Another big dunk guy.
Who now, if you watch The Last Dance, he's most known for being an abuse victim of Michael Jordan.
Another guy who played in the Big Ten, who when he touched the ball, like, shoot, there's 2 points. I don't care who's guarding him. Big dog, Glenn Robinson.
Yeah.
His kid went to Michigan, but yeah, the original big dog had a cool nickname too. That helped. And a guy who you will probably recognize the name as a Big Ten basketball fan, but the average Super Meatball viewer will have to Google this guy's name, and it's largely because of the haircut that he sported. The center from Iowa, A.C. Earl.
Oh
You
yeah.
got to go back and look at AC Earl's flat top fade from like 1991.
He played for the Celtics.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Okay. No knowledge of him post Iowa, but so I played this dice game called March Madness, where you get a chart. Here is in fact that chart. Let me know you hear me.
I hear you.
Okay, my headphones died, so I'm on Nat Sound now.
Okay.
March Madness is a game. Here's the chart where you just roll dice and you see how many points your guys score. You can make your own historical teams. I made an Iowa team just because I liked AC Earl, and it's a terrible team. In that board game, it's not good.
I'm going to throw in one more honorable mention from the Greg Hare Memorial list, and that's Yinka Dare from George Washington. Yinka Dinka Do.
Was there anything more frustrating than watching that Michigan George Washington game with your dad? Yinka Dinka here, like, shut up, Greg.
Let me tell you something. If I were putting together a top 10 frustrating things about watching TV with Greg Hare, Yinka Dare is not even in the 20s.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what. There's our draft, and a good one. I enjoyed looking back at 90s basketball, at least trying to get names. I was telling Jen the names, like I'm driving. I'm like, write this down, because I forgot. By the time I got home, I'd forget. So she had no honorable mention. She didn't know anything about college basketball. She does have an honorable mention in our top 5, though.
Oh, I'll be curious to hear.
Kind of, sort of. So I forget what I was watching, but or I saw, it was a picture I think I saw on Facebook that was talking about movies with actors whose roles could never be or should never be reprised because they did such a perfect job at it the first time. And I thought, let's see what Tim thinks about drafting this. And is today Oscar Sunday?
Yeah, tonight's the ceremony.
Between I tell you what, between the Oscars and the United States, Dominican Republic, and Selection Sunday, it's a good day for TV.
And Warriors Knicks primetime game, 8:30 tip, I believe.
That is so fourth on the list in terms of big deal things like
Michigan in the Big Ten title game at 3:30.
3:30
Purdue
prime time. So, I'll tell you, you did your first draft, so I'll go
in
with
the spirit of the California Compromise. You should go first.
And this was actually the first one that I thought of because it sort of happened. We saw a different actor play this role on multiple media between movies and television. But I don't think there's a better Hannibal Lecter than Sir Anthony Hopkins, and I don't think there should be, even if we do prequels. The prequel that I saw, I forget what it was called. It was called
Manhunter.
No. So Manhunter and Red Dragon, I think, were the same movie.
So Manhunter was the Michael Mann movie that was 85 with Brian Cox.
He predated Anthony Hopkins, so that it's not his fault he wasn't as good. But when they did I think the movie it wasn't called Hannibal. What the heck was it called?
Red Dragon?
No, it was the one after Red Dragon. I really should have written this down. If I type in Hannibal Lecter movies, Hannibal Rising.
Oh, okay.
In 2007, which kind of did a they go back and they look at Hannibal before what made him turn into this. They had a guy named Gaspard Ulliel play Hannibal Lecter, and I get it. Like, he was a younger Lecter. I don't care about younger Lecter. Just give me Sir Anthony Hopkins all day, every day. Period.
Yeah, I mean, my love of the movie Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, it was a great movie.
And Anthony Hopkins
Lecter's on screen for 8 minutes.
Something like 20 minutes, and he won Best Actor at the 91 Oscars. It's a great performance, and I think what's so great about him and what's so scary is the stillness of the performance. He doesn't move a lot when he's in his cell, like the first time. Like Clarice,
Compared to Miggs.
he's just what's that?
Certainly not compared to Miggs.
Well, yeah.
Bouncing around his cell like a rabbit.
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins is just I don't know what the spooky doesn't quite capture it, but like eerie, like something about that icy voice, like it's just unsettling.
Yeah, unsettling is good. And that's how the character should be.
Yeah.
No, he's not a Freddy Krueger, Chucky type of villain. His blood pressure didn't rise above 87, even when
he ate her tongue.
That's was the first one I thought of. The rest of it took a little thought.
So the first one I thought of, is the fact that they almost couldn't cast the role. The movie almost didn't get made because they couldn't find an actor who fit the bill for what the part required. But then when they were making Inglourious Bastards, they found Christoph Waltz to play Hans Landa. Quentin Tarantino did, because they needed an actor who was charming, but also could speak fluent German, Italian, English, and French.
Yeah, that doesn't exist.
And Christoph Waltz, luckily, speaks all four, and is an actor who was capable of pulling off, one of the great roles of the 21st century. Won an Oscar for it, and I just don't know who else you could cast to play that part.
My knowledge of that movie is limited to several clips on TikTok. I haven't seen the full movie.
Oh, it's so good.
It'll be on, like, this is what happens. Like, you say something like that, and I'll put a checklist, and like it'll be like 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now. There's nothing on TV.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see if I can find it streaming. And happened with Fargo last year at this time.
Yeah, and that when you see it, and you see like from the opening scene, one of the great opening scenes in any movie, he's just it's kind of like with Lecter, where he's this evil person, but there's something so charming about him.
I will write that down. Noted. I didn't write it down. I'll let you know, though.
Steel trap. Jen, write it down.
My number two, I cheated a little because he's not the actor, but he is what you associate with the role. If they had not replaced the voice of Darth Vader with James Earl Jones, that character is nothing of what he was when we were growing up, and he's certainly not as cool as he is now. So the fact when James Earl Jones came out, and I don't know when it was, he said he's done voicing Darth Vader. That was kind of sad, and especially the way Disney was approaching some of the new Star Wars stuff. That when they did the Kenobi miniseries, when they had Anakin and Darth Vader's voice like intersplicing, like that was really cool. But nothing as cool as Vader talking through the mask in Earl Jones' voice.
A great pick, and it makes me think of two things. One, if you've ever seen the raw footage of the actor in the costume,
which is why I said like they didn't
David Prowse just being like, yeah, seize them. But then also, if you've ever seen the YouTube clip of like Vader clips, but they use the audio of James Earl Jones from other movies, like other James Earl Jones movies, where like there's like a 70s movie where he's like,
that your finger was a woman.
He's like, come here, woman. Like, I want to have my way with you.
I know what I'm doing after the show.
Yeah, that's a great clip.
There was a mini series on YouTube that I watched back in like 2004, 2005 that was about Vader. Oh gosh, I forget what it was called. But he was like a grocery clerk at a supermarket.
Okay.
It was funny back then. I don't know if it would still be funny now. I don't. my mental palate has changed.
I'm gonna go. This is another Oscar-winning role, and I don't know if you saw There Will Be Blood. No. But Daniel Day-Lewis in that movie, I've seen it maybe 3 times now, and I truly I just don't know who else could play the lead role in There Will Be Blood. He's like a wannabe oil baron who you know let's just say if the character Daniel Plainview had 81 points against the Wizards, he would not come out of the game. He has like a maniacal competitiveness to him.
This one I can't stand you watching. A 2007 epic period drama film.
It's so good though. It doesn't feel like something that... Well, if you only watch one, I think you'll like Inglourious Basterds.
Well, based on what I see on TikTok, I would. I think.
Yeah. But yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis, probably the most deserved Best Actor Oscar of the 21st century, and in the running for all time.
Okay. Oh, wow.
It's really that good.
Okay. I'm gonna. I don't know if this guy won awards. I'm sure he deserved it. He was a consultant on this movie. He wasn't even supposed to be in it, but he's like,
he's on my list.
I have to do this, otherwise it's gonna suck. Arlie Ernie as Gunnery Sergeant Hartman in Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
And the reason I put him on there is because he can't be replaced because he replaced the guy that they thought was going to be the actor. Yeah. And he just did a phenomenal job ad-libbing, like 90% of his lines?
Yeah.
So, and the fact that, if he was ad-libbing, that everybody else was kind of just, that they would have had to ad-lib with him, kind of, sort of. Or like they might have said, like, go in this direction.
But that works because he's just berating the other actors that they're on edge to be like, I don't know, drill sergeant,
But, yeah, that's an absolute phenomenal job. And Ernie actually went on to host. There was a show on Discovery about firearms. And I used to watch this, and he would talk about the historical nature of whatever weapon they were using. He had a really good on-screen presence as himself. Well, not just as Sergeant Hartman.
He went on to a pretty prolific acting career because he's in Seven as the police captain.
I forgot about that.
He was in Dead Man Walking as like one of the parents of a murder victim. So yeah, I mean he did drama, he did comedy, and he also kind of like that role from Full Metal Jacket. The Arlie Ermy scenes overshadow the rest of the movie. He's so good that once he leaves the movie,
it feels like it's two movies. The training camp, the island, and then
it's Vietnam. Yeah. But yeah, once he's gone, and it becomes a completely different movie. But then also he kind of created the movie the archetype for like the movie drill sergeant. Like there's like how they were portrayed before Arlie Ermy and then after, where like everyone who plays like that kind of role now is doing some variation on Arlie Ermy.
Even Major Payne.
What's that?
Even in the movie Major Payne with Damon Wayans.
Kinda. It's a comedic twist on Gunnery Sergeant Hartman. Yeah. That's a great pick. So since you said it, I'm going to go with one of my own. I'll adapt. I'm going to go with. It's another Oscar winner, but it's a movie I know you've seen because we saw it together, not in theaters, but it's Tommy Lee Jones in The Fugitive.
Yeah. Okay. His little the monologue thing,
and not just that, but the way like. Tommy Lee Jones always has that persona of being like annoyed and being put out and not wanting to suffer fools. So like every time he's like, Cosmo, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you go get me a donut while you're thinking? One of them donuts with sprinkles on it. Like every time he's just like, have we caught this guy yet? Come on. Yeah. And it's a performance that didn't have to be that good in a movie that didn't have to be that good. And the fact that it's as great as it is purely a credit to Tommy Lee Jones.
I will absolutely agree with you that he belongs on the list. I hadn't considered him. I didn't think of The Fugitive because I just didn't. But every outhouse, hen house, farmhouse. I can't imagine anybody else doing that. Like,
all right, listen up. Our fugitive's been on the run for 90 minutes. Average foot speed over uneven ground.
Saturday Night Live did something like this. Like they had a thing of like if other actors auditioned for something.
Oh yeah,
like,
they do that from time to time so the cast can trot out their impressions.
So do Christopher Walken doing that speech.
Oh, I don't have a Walken handy.
Well, you make one. Average foot speed over
uneven ground, barring injuries, 4 miles an hour.
So bad.
Gives us a radius of 6 miles.
That's so bad.
Who's more Woody Allen than Christopher Walken?
That's close enough. Hey, entertain me. No, I like that pick. That's a good one. For mine, it was about to happen. I mean, it took me 4 movies to get to The Big Lebowski. How about anybody in that movie? But I'll go John Goodman as Walter. The lovability versus the anger, the easy to anger ability, where you have, the over the line Walter versus the unable to formulate his thoughts and feelings at the Donnie ceremony Walter. Like he goes from Sully from Monsters Inc. to an actual monster. And the look, I mean, Goodman slimmed down considerably since, but the big Walter teddy bear John Goodman thing, I could have picked almost anybody else in that movie, including, Turturro as Jesus. I think would have been another one. Like, I don't know how you replace him either, but Goodman for me he's Walter.
Yeah, I'd considered that, but I figured you might take him.
You could pick absolutely anybody else. You could pick Jeff Bridges. You could pick who played Brandt, because he was the other guy I thought of.
Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yeah, and John Goodman is Exhibit A in how hard it is to even be nominated for an Oscar for comedies. It's like a real kind of snobbishness that a role like that, and as great as he is, just received no consideration. And also, I'd just like to point out that every step of the way, Walter is right about what's happening. The only time he's wrong is when he's like, "This guy walks." I guarantee. That's the only time he's wrong.
Unhand me. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with. It's not necessarily a movie I love. I saw it in theaters, and it was amusing enough. It's not a movie I ever need to see again necessarily. But I'll tell you, I don't know anyone else who could do what Jim Carrey did in The Mask.
Oh, no. Yeah, I'm with you.
To be a live-action Tex Avery cartoon.
On all counts.
Yeah. Like facially, like just his physical movement, vocally, like he
that was right around the time of Ace Ventura, too, which is like this same thing.
Within like a 16-month span, he had Ace Ventura, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber come out.
Wow. And I'll tell you what, I wouldn't replace him in any of them.
No. And like it's one of the greatest examples of someone who went from like, before that, he was just the white guy in Living Color. And then he just blew up and he could write his ticket. He could be in any movie he wanted.
And he went
the Riddler and Batman Forever, and he was off and running.
Went from that to like the Truman Show and
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
I couldn't pull that long one out. Yeah, it was on Montauk. So he's got a range.
Yeah,
and he gave one of the best MTV Music Award speeches of all time in that weird beard. Kill you to play some fog hat. No, yeah, his The Mask, the dichotomy between him and like the bad guy when they put the mask on was really amazing, and that's Jim Carrey's physical humor and physical comedy ability. Yeah,
it's really not a good movie, but the only reason that
movie, but for the '90s comedies as a date flick, it was great.
The only reason it has any rewatchability at all is because he's giving 150%.
Oh yeah. He's off the wall at all times.
Yeah.
And the dog was fun too because the dog got to bite that guy in the rear end.
It introduced the world to Cameron Diaz.
Diaz looked, pretty good.
Pretty good, he says.
Not bad.
Solid 6.
My last one. This is number 5 for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. I was just talking to Jen about this movie. I don't know, the other day, and this absolute nobody ever heard of him, just friend of the director. But could anybody play Jay better than Jason Mewes?
Yeah, I was trying to think of an example like that of like a real person playing some version of themselves, and that's a great example across multiple movies.
Wild stretch of, but this is who he is in every movie, from Clerks to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Even when he's not playing
Dogma,
Jay, like in that Zack and Miri Make a Porno, he's still just some version of Jay. It's Jason Mewes always playing some version of Jason Mewes.
That's what he's good at. So
yeah,
I
very
couldn't
niche, but very very effective.
I couldn't put Christopher Walken in as Jay. Even the dance scene that Walken has the ability to do the dance, but
I'm gonna make like a circus seal. I was trying to find a line that I can say on the podcast, and B, do it in a Walken.
You tried and failed amazingly funnily.
For my 5th one, I have 2. I have 2 actresses here that I'm trying to decide between, and I think I'm going to go with Sigourney Weaver in the Alien movies.
Okay. Sadly and amazingly somehow, I've seen 0 minutes of the Alien movies.
Oh my God, she's
all
so
12
good.
of them or whatever.
The first 2 especially are so good, and she went from being like a total unknown to being an Oscar nominee and then a star of the, obviously within 5 years she's in Ghostbusters. But it's some combination of like, she always portrays characters with, it feels like she would be incapable of playing a dumb character. There's always like just that flicker of like high intelligence behind her eyes. But then it's also the fact that she's an Amazon, that, she's like 6 feet tall. That even at her most vulnerable, you feel like she's gonna be okay. So it's both the physical and just like that projection of that she's gonna think her way out of a situation.
How tall is Rick Moranis?
What's that?
How tall is Rick Moranis?
Maybe 5'7", if I had to guess.
You're not wrong, because when I'm thinking of, he's 5'6". When the Keymaster and Gatekeeper get together in Ghostbusters, she is like significantly bigger than him.
Yeah.
So she doesn't feel damsel in distress.
Yeah.
She could have played Sarah Connor.
I forget what movie it was, but she was in a movie with Chevy Chase. It was mentioned in the recent Chevy Chase documentary that it was a point of contention because he's like 6'4", and he didn't like that she in heels was almost the same height as him. She's like, well, what do you want me to do? Like, which also proves just what an ass Chevy Chase is.
There you go. I'm looking at who are you deciding between her and who else?
So the other actress, and did you ever end up seeing Fargo? Because it's Frances McDormand.
I did.
It's Frances McDormand in Fargo as Marge Gunderson. And then the other one, just for not only physically, but like there's like this combination of, like you were saying with John Goodman as Walter, like menace, but like innocence as well. Almost like a big kid in school who's a bully against his will. And that's Andre the Giant in The Princess Bride.
That's a good pick. And this, I think The Princess Bride was a movie they talked about remaking. And that's one of the first things you think, like, who's going to be Andre? I thought you were going to say Michael Clark Duncan as
in the Green
John
Mile.
Coffey. I mean, that's from size, a look perspective, that would have been tough. He didn't make my list, though. The other ones I thought of were, have you ever seen the movie Clue?
I haven't, actually.
So that should be your homework assignment after you see Wicked. Clue is a fun movie that, again, there was talk of a remake, but Tim Curry played a really good Wadsworth in that. In terms of just facial expressions and pure absolute terror, who's doing a better Jack Torrance than Jack Nicholson?
Yeah. And it's funny because Stephen King hated the performance.
Yeah, well,
he's wrong.
You can be wrong. And here's Jen comes in because we're talking to her in the car, and she's like, "Well, Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman," and I thought to myself, I remember the movie poster for Pretty Woman, and I'm like, "Wow, that woman is gorgeous." I think you could have found another Hollywood starlet that would be just as good looking. I think Julia Roberts, but she acted fine. But this gives me an opportunity to talk about one of the first movie blunders I ever noticed in a movie. So here's Richard Gere. Right? He picks up Julia Roberts in his $1 million sports car, takes her to this posh hotel, and he wants to spend the night with her. Right? And she's like, "You can't afford it." And he's like, "Well, how much?" She comes back with $300. With inflation, it's $750 in today's money.
I could afford it.
Would that put a dent in my life? Yeah. But I could afford $750. So that's
like whole, a new set of snow tires.
That script writing was absolutely ridiculous. But
also,
Jen would not have replaced Julia Roberts.
Also, a flaw is that a obscenely rich guy who looks like Richard Gere needs to go looking for prostitutes.
That's addressed in the movie. He wanted a professional.
I don't know if I've seen that in probably 30 years. So
no, I hadn't either. But the reason I remembered that I did something on Facebook because I watched it on E, and every now and then it comes up on my memories because I write about that silliness that he can't afford it. But I didn't know the exact number of her rate. Was it 300 or what it was? So I had to try to find it on YouTube, and I was watching it on YouTube, and one of the scenes was she actually says like, "You're a good-looking rich guy. How can you not find a girl?"
Yeah.
Because he was hanging out with Jason Alexander, probably like the anti-wingman.
Yeah, and not to be a downer, but that's a really odd impulse, like at the height of the AIDS scare, for a rich guy to be like, "You know what? I want a professional so badly, I'm going to go looking for a Los Angeles prostitute."
Love on the corner. So there it is. A fun list on Oscar Sunday. What do you think?
Julia Roberts, Oscar nominated for Pretty Woman, by the way.
Oh, really? Good.
Yeah.
Amazing. 1990, was it?
1990. She lost to Kathy Bates for Misery.
Oh, that was, yeah. Okay, say no more because my feet are hurting already. Smarty Pants time, Mr. Smarty Pants. And I don't have a question for you.
Okay.
But I have 3 lists.
Okay.
So you want to go back and forth with lists? How many lists do you have?
I just have the one list.
You just have the one. Okay, so I'll give you the first one.
Okay.
Then you can do one. So here we go. Earlier in the show, we talked about Kenneth Walker signing with Kansas City. Kenneth Walker is the 3rd Super Bowl MVP to change teams the very next season. Do you know who the other 3 are? I knew one off the top of my head. The other 2, I was like, whoa.
Larry Brown of the Cowboys, I believe.
That's the one I knew. After Super Bowl 30, signed with Oakland.
And then I'm going to have to think. Nick Foles?
Nick Foles not on the list.
Change teams after.
We're about to lose money here.
Oh, gosh, the clock's running.
That's $10,000 right there.
Oh, no. Boy, I'm running. Desmond Howard?
Desmond Howard signed with Oakland as well after winning the MVP with Green Bay. And the last one is on the defensive side of the ball.
It's not like going back to someone like Chuck Howley or Jake Scott, is it?
Nope. This is actually post-college graduation.
Dexter Jackson of the Bucs.
Dexter Jackson, amazing. You got it. Look at that, 2003. After defeating Oakland, he left Tampa Bay. Good deal. That wasn't even close. I'm pretty sure you're going to absolutely crush this picture list. I haven't looked at the whole thing, but yeah, this is stupid easy stuff. So let's get your list out here.
Okay,
Mr. Noodlehead.
So there are 14 players in NBA history who have had their jersey retired by multiple teams. How many can you name? And I'll tell you that Minnesota hasn't officially retired Kobe's number, but they've announced that no one will wear number 8 or 24.
Okay.
So Kobe's not one.
The one I know is Michael Jordan.
Yes, Michael Jordan by the Bulls and the Heat.
By the Heat.
Yes.
Absolute ridiculousness. How about Charles Barkley?
Charles Barkley is correct. Philadelphia and Phoenix.
How about? I mean, he's still playing, so LeBron can't work.
Yeah, no, not LeBron.
Did like the Bulls do something dumb and retire Dwayne Wade?
No, it's not Dwayne Wade. And I will tell you there are 2 players who've had their jersey retired by 3 franchises. Also, I'll tell you, it's not Bill Russell who's been retired league-wide.
Shaq?
Shaq is correct.
Orlando and LA?
Yep.
Okay. How about something like Kevin Garnett?
That's a good guess, but no, it's not Garnett. Although there's still time. I think the Celtics may consider it.
How many years did he put in Boston?
Only like 4 or 5.
It feels like the Yankees are retiring CC Sabathia's number this year. That feels like, I mean, yeah, he won your ring, but really?
Yeah, I kind of thought that with CC too. That's actually a good comparison. Although CC was there
plaque
longer.
in Monument Park makes sense, but yeah, if somebody wants to wear 52, that's not a big deal. Which I doubt the Lakers are going to retire Karl Malone, but I'm trying to think of really good players who played for multiple teams. So yeah, we'll say Malone, and you'll say no.
No, it's not. It's not Karl Malone.
Is it Moses Malone?
Moses Malone by Houston and Philadelphia.
There we go. So Moses is a little bit before my time. How many of these are before my time?
1, 2.
I can start throwing out names like Elgin Baylor and Dan Issel and Dolph Shays.
I would say most of these guys. Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Either play like had their heyday before our time.
Oh, geez. Yeah. What? Give me those because they're not. I'm not getting those.
Okay. So Wilt with Philadelphia and LA. And Pete Maravich.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't have pulled him
out. Oscar Robertson with the Bucks, and he played for the Cincinnati Royals, who became the Sacramento Kings. Yeah. Bob Lanier with Detroit and Milwaukee. Nate Thurmond with Golden State and Cleveland. And Earl the Pearl Monroe.
Oh, okay.
The Knicks and the Bullets / Wizards.
How many are left after that?
That leaves 2. That leaves 3. And 2 of them are like top 20 all-time guys.
Oh,
and the third one is a guy who most definitely played at our peak NBA watching. Like 2 of these guys, their peaks were in the 70s, but they also played at an all-star level in the 80s.
Wes Unseld?
That's not a bad guess, but I believe he was a career Bullet.
I can't think of guys that are played like that era. I got nothing, man.
Let's just say Julia Roberts is not the only hooker in this conversation because Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Okay, jeez. That
One of these guys was mentioned earlier when we talked about who was the guy who handed the baton off to Jordan, Dr. J,
okay.
with the Nets and the Sixers. The last guy on the list, you owned his jersey.
Clyde Drexler?
It's Clyde Drexler. His
I
was
th-
retired in Houston as well as Portland.
I thought about Drexler. I didn't think Houston would have done it though.
That's surprising because he wasn't there that long, but he did win a
There
title.
it's the CC Sabathia.
And I think also since he played in college there was just like goodwill in the city.
That's fair. That's fair. That was tough, man. That was tough. We will follow that up with a picture I saw on Facebook that is absolutely simple. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 things here, and the graphic is labeled things only one team in NFL history has ever done. Okay. Are you ready? So this is like a trivia question, and if you get more than 2 wrong, I'm going to be shocked.
Okay.
You shouldn't get any wrong, honestly. Here we go. Number 1, the only team to finish an entire season and postseason undefeated and untied.
The Dolphins.
The only team to play in both the AFC Championship and the NFC Championship.
The AFC Championship and the NFC. In the Super Bowl era, I'm assuming? Like, okay. Did the Seahawks do that?
Yeah, yes. The only non-profit, community-owned team in major U.S. pro sports.
Right, the Packers.
The only team to reach 4 consecutive Super Bowls.
The Bills.
The only now this one you might not get this one. The only NFL franchise that has never recorded a tie game in its history.
The Jaguars.
Yeah, I take that back. Mr. Smarty Pants is on fire. The only team in NFL history to have played in Super Bowls in 3 different decades.
So are we talking about like the year the Super Bowl game was played or the year of the season that they qualified? Because like the Steelers played a Super Bowl in the 80s against the Rams, but it was the 79 season, but January of 1980.
Probably not that because it's not the Steelers.
Okay. Then it would have to be the 49ers.
What are the 49ers down? Now, they might have...
In 3 different decades? Because they played in the 80s, the Steve Young team in the 90s, and then the Kaepernick team.
You're not wrong. Pop history, whoever made this graphic is wrong. So I'll give you... You're not wrong with San Francisco. They had the Oakland Raiders.
And actually the Steelers in the 70s, and then the 90s, and then the Roethlisberger teams.
Yeah, that's... I wish I bookmarked that because I would comment how dumb they are.
And the Rams, the Vince Ferragamo Rams that lost to the Steelers.
Look at this.
And then the Kurt Warner Rams, and then the Stafford Rams.
Maybe they meant 3 different consecutive decades.
Oh, okay.
But they don't say that. They don't stipulate. They say 60s, 70s, and 80s. So it just says the only team to have played in a Super Bowl in 3 different decades. So you are way off here, pop history.
The Eagles? All right, I'll stop.
There we go. The only team, allegedly, with a logo that faces left.
The Eagles.
Meant to resemble a capital E.
Yeah, Eagles. Feathers make an E. Yeah.
Now, the only franchise with multiple Super Bowl appearances to remain undefeated in the big game. So have never lost a Super Bowl and have played multiple Super Bowls.
Multiple Super Bowls and never lost one. The Ravens?
Baltimore Ravens, excellent. The only team to win an NFL championship / Super Bowl representing 3 different cities. I don't understand this, but okay.
An NFL / Super Bowl championship representing 3 different cities. Okay. Let's think here. Who's moved around a lot? I mean, The Raiders have moved a lot, but they haven't been like as Vegas.
They're not going with the Raiders. I don't get this question, but I give you 30 seconds before you get it right. And like,
yeah, I'm just working through. Boy, I'm trying to think of any franchises that have really hopped around, but have had consistent success. Like they're not doing something tricky like, oh, like, this team played in New York City and then they moved to Jersey and then they moved from East Rutherford. Like, okay.
I knew the team they picked. I recognized them in 2 cities. I don't recognize them in the 3rd.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not like Baltimore winning as the Cleveland Browns, then like in Baltimore, and then like.
But Cleveland is a part of this though.
Who
so
is
weird. It's the LA Rams, who won in Los Angeles and St. Louis, but then they also have them listed as Cleveland. So that must have been an NFL championship.
Yeah.
But there it is. After they biffed so hard on the Raiders.
Yeah, that shook my confidence in the integrity of the questions.
But this one I know is true. The only team to win a championship game by more than 70 points.
Oh, yeah, the Bears.
That Bears 73-0. So I saw this picture. I'm like, I'll share this with Tim, and he'll absolutely throttle this. an embarrassing graphic by Pop History.
They made the list.
They'll make the list next week. The last one I just put together today because I thought, I bet he'll do very well with this as well. After Thursday, there have been 11 players in the NBA to hit for at least 70 points in an NBA game. How many can you name?
How many of the 11? Okay. Wilt, Bam, and Kobe.
Bam, Kobe, 1, 2, 3.
Luka.
Luka's 4.
David Thompson did it.
5. In order, by the way, you just gave him to me.
Lillard did it.
That's number 6 listed.
Embiid did it.
He's down further on the list, but he's on the list. So you were going well. You missed 3 in a row, though.
David Robinson did it.
In 1994.
To win the scoring title against the Clippers last day of the season. How many do I have?
You need 1, 2, 3. You need 3 more.
Jordan do it?
No, Jordan never hit for 70.
He got like 68 or 69. Okay. Now I'm slowing down. Because there were a ton who did it recently, like in like.
One of them you're missing is fairly recently.
You said there are 3 left.
2 guys went for 71. 1 guy went for 70.
Did Gervin do it?
Not on the list.
Can I get years? You said
2023.
Okay.
Is the most recent. I want to say he did it for Cleveland, but I could be wrong.
Donovan Mitchell?
Donovan Mitchell, yeah, he got 71.
Yeah, I should have gotten that. Spider.
2017, going back chronologically. If I tell you where he did it, you'll probably get it.
2017.
Western Conference.
Durant?
Not Durant.
2017 in the Western Conference.
He did it in Phoenix.
Oh, Booker did it, yeah.
And then the last one is going back to 1960. Elgin Baylor, yeah, there you go. 11 players who have 70 or more points.
I'll take rattling off 8, and I should have got Booker, and I should have gotten Mitchell. I knew David Thompson, but not Mitchell and Booker.
When I put the list together, I thought to myself, I wouldn't have gotten these. So, a fine effort.
Take a look real quick. What was Jordan's single game high? Did he have 69 once?
He had 63 against the Celtics in a playoff game.
In 86, yeah.
Yeah, his all-time career high is 69, 1990 in an overtime win against Cleveland.
Yeah.
He also had 18 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 steals in that game.
Nice night at the office.
Yeah, not too shabby.
I couldn't remember if Jordan had 69 or 70. Oh, I didn't hear. Did you say something? The audio might have.
I said the word is that Jordan Kidd was pretty good.
Yeah. I've seen his silhouette around places.
Not too shabby.
Yeah, made a killing in shoes, right?
Yeah. There's a movie about that too. I get a lot of that movie in my TikTok.
That's a pretty good movie. The Ben Affleck movie, Air.
Yeah, I think probably.
Yeah, that's worth watching.
I'll put it on after Inglourious Bastards.
I love how I'm such a bad friend where I'm like, oh, I have 10 movies you need to see. And you're like, have you seen Wicked yet? I'm like, no, wait, I just thought of 2 more you need to though.
I want you to see Wicked so I can put somebody on the list.
Someone on from the movie?
Kinda, yeah.
Is it Cynthia Erivo?
Until you see the movie and understand the story, the putting the person on the list doesn't make sense.
Okay.
So, honestly, if you read the synopsis of the musical, that would work. You don't have to see the movie to understand my potential irritation with this character.
The first or second one?
Well, like the Broadway musical encompasses
no, but
both.
I mean, which movie to get your irritation?
Oh no! Both of them put together.
Oh, okay.
I was more irritated by the fact that they split the movies up because they were probably trying to win Oscars. Like, I'm going to win an Oscar this year and the next year. I'm glad they got shut out this year.
It was both that and just trying to make twice the haul at the box office.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could have done that by releasing one Thanksgiving and one Christmas. Listen, I get splitting the movie. There was an intermission, makes sense. The second movie was fine. It was less memorable than the first one, amazingly musically. But the fact that they waited a full year, that bugged me. So not winning any Oscars was okay with me. The splitting the box office, I get that. That's
But, I mean, they have to make their money.
I'll tell you what, man, it's a good return show. Good to see you again. The next time we see each other, there'll be a bracket for us to dissect, and we'll have to figure out a way. I don't know if Jeff's running his bracket this year, so we'll have to find a way to get a Soup and Meatballs bracket going, and we'll see who scores more points, you, me, or Miami.
Yeah. If you are doing one though, let me know.
I will send one over to you. So, good week. As you usually say, it's p o'clock around here. So
yeah, my bladder is just as reliable as that timer in the left-hand corner.
That's Soup. I'm Meatballs. We'll see you when we